Hi guys, let's tune in. Welcome to our new location for the next few weeks. I know today we should be talking about telepathy, but I don't want to rush the energy lessons. I think there's going to be two more, including today's, which will be energy vampires and energy harvesting. Let's get into it. What is an energy vampire? A metaphor for people or situations that leave you feeling drained, tense, or depleted after interacting with them. We've already talked about the fact that we want to look at our routines, look at our lives, notice what is getting too much of our energy. What are we thinking way too much about? What relationship situations require us to have emotional states that feel draining to us? And what is taking up way too much of our time, aka our behavior. Noticing what is being a vampire to your energy doesn't mean that these people are bad people. It just either means that you're not compatible or that the person that is using your energy probably has some healing to do. They are attracted to your energy so much because they don't know how to create it for themselves yet. By you creating boundaries, you're facilitating in them having the environment, aka you not in their space all the time, to actually do that healing. So, these are some different circumstances in which you can notice if your energy is being drained, sucked. If you're in a situation or around people that are always in crisis mode, every conversation is an emergency and they need you in order to figure it out. That is not a great situation. It's requiring your energy, whether this is your job, whether this is a person. You want to notice what is always in crisis mode. And you need to start facilitating boundaries, not just for yourself, but to, again, aid them in learning how to take care of themselves. If you're somebody that is used to being there for this type of person, it can feel very hard to create a boundary with them because it's part of your identity at this point, is being the savior. Again, by you not being the rescuer, they learn how to rescue themselves, which is great. We all want to be able to rescue ourselves. Now, the chronic complainer, repeatedly venting, and not just repeatedly venting, but resisting the solutions. I was speaking to somebody for quite a few months, and I noticed that whenever I would start speaking about solutions, right, starting to strategize about what could be done, as soon as they were done venting, as soon as I would start speaking, they would pick up their phone as I was trying to help strategize about the issues that they were presenting to me. This was a sign that, oh, this person doesn't want help. They want me to take on some of their issues. Because again, if you're having a conversation with somebody, it's requiring your thoughts to think about whatever they're saying. And depending on how much empathy you have, a large portion of your emotions. So by focusing your energy on their situation, there is an alleviation of how much energy they have to deal with and their own situation because you're absorbing some of it. If somebody is choosing to be in a cycle, you're a part of the cycle as well because you're continuing to listen to it. You're not being a good example because you're a part of the problem too. And I will just say that at one point in my healing journey, I noticed that I was being an energy vampire because the only relationships I had in my life were people draining my energy. I was like, well, this is how relationships work. I'm going to come to my people with my problems. So I was mimicking that same interaction that I was so used to. Once I cut off those people, I was like, oh, now I have the capacity to deal with my own emotions because I'm not dealing with yours. And now I'm not draining other people because I'm healing my own issues. I know how to come to myself. Really, we don't want there to be a need for other people to be there in our own healing. Think about that. To need somebody else in order to heal. Your healing state is always going to be dependent on somebody else. And do we want that? Do we want to not know how to fix ourselves, which gets into like constantly needing attention from people, which can be a huge problem because now you're probably going to be adapting a lot of your behavior in order to just keep people around because you need them so much to help with your own energy vampire. Again, an energy vampire is just somebody that needs your thoughts and emotion, your regulated state, your regulated routine, the fact that you've done a lot of the healing work, that they want to be around you because they cannot create that energy for themselves. So they become dependent on yours. And it's not the fact that I have anything that you don't have and vice versa. It's just we have done the work to deal with our issues, to release the pain, that we don't need somebody in order to feel complete. Because I know how to generate that energy for myself with my routine, with dealing with my thoughts, getting down to the root problem, with choosing to be in high vibrational emotional states, whether that's through music, moving your body, right? You have to identify what makes you feel good and then just do it. And obviously some things can make us feel good that we shouldn't be doing, but we want to be able to feel good, okay? Let's continue with our list. The emotional taker, somebody that wants attention, reassurance, validation, or support without reciprocation. This was a bit similar to what we were just saying in terms of the person that always needs attention, right? Hey, like I call it fishing. You want a compliment. You could just be a good person. You don't have to show me everything that you've ever done in your life. You don't have to have the latest shoes. You could just be yourself. But no judgment, right? We're all on the journey. But that takes you feeling okay with yourself to know, hey, if I show up as myself, I love myself. So somebody else is gonna love me. And if they don't love me, they're just not my person. And that's okay. Has nothing to do with me. You're okay. And they're okay, hopefully. Okay, the boundary pusher. They treat your no time, privacy, or limits as negotiable. So, if you act differently around certain people than you normally would, that is sometimes an indication of your boundaries being crossed, or you need to go back into reflection and say, is this really what I want? Because sometimes different people can bring certain things out of us that other people can't, or we're willing to do things with certain people that we're not with others. But then you need to be in alignment with, is this truly a boundary, or is this person trying to create an environment where I'm giving them what they want? Let's continue. The critic, the subtle digs, judgment, comparison, or making you prove yourself. So there's a difference between people that want us to do better, give us useful feedback. Number one, it's given gently. Number two, hopefully they're aiding in that, because even the judgments, the digs, the comparison, those words are usually not tied to somebody with a good intention versus somebody that's actually trying to help. Then we have the chaos generator. Interactions become conflict or confusion. So again, this can be at work or in a relationship. I had a job once that was always in a financial crisis. They were never making consistent money. And it became the problem of every employee there, rather than, hey, there's something going on within the organization that needs to be fixed. Not, hey, everybody else work harder every single month. No, we need to get down to the issue. So again, if you find yourself in that situation, you need to go and start looking for a new job, bring it up if you're brave. Whatever the case may be, you cannot stay stuck somewhere that doesn't have their priorities together when we're trying to get our priorities together. And who is making their problems your problem? Last but not least, we have the charismatic manipulator. Charming, but leaving you feeling guilty, obligated, or psychologically characteristics that we've gone through so far are a bit related to narcissism, which we'll get into in the future. But I want us to also understand that it doesn't mean people are always aware that they're doing this. And again, when it comes to my trauma folks, if you have trauma that left you feeling guilty, left you feeling obligated or psychologically off balance, this can be a state, an emotional state that you're used to being in. So when you get triggered by it, now your boundaries are being crossed. You are susceptible to this energy manipulation because you're trying to heal something from your inner child in this situation that's happening in present time. Yeah? The point is, this is why we have to heal. In the same way that we're trying to be like, hey, they need to go do their healing. If you're able to identify that somebody is energetically draining you, you have homework to do as well, because you're the one allowing yourself to be drained. Why? I know. I love you guys. To sum up this first part, it was all about understanding which interactions feel like work. And don't get me wrong, every relationship, every situation is going to require some type of work, but even work can be fun. Even work, you get paid for something, it's reciprocal. So let's say you're not getting paid enough, you're gonna find a new job. Even if you're being reciprocated to, doesn't mean it's the equal amount. You have to be able to let things go, even when it hurts, so that you can find something more aligned to you. If you and another person are completely healed, nobody's ever healed, 100%. But if you're healed, you're doing the work, you have your life together, then whenever you come together, you should be talking about like, look at this weather we're having. Well, maybe not that dry, but like the curtains, right? You should be talking about this present moment, not the things from the past, the trauma, that girl that did something to me this week at work and You shouldn't be talking about all that, or you need to go heal that. And I'm not saying it's all the time. Like, of course, we have friends to vent to. But again, we do not want to become so reliant on needing another person that we're only healing around people. And then we're draining their energy. And not just that, but we talked about this. Anything that has your thoughts and your emotional state, your behavior has your energy. So even if something did happen bad at work, continuing to talk about it is still giving it energy. You're just manifesting more of it. So use the time when you're with your friends, your loved ones, whatever, to be focused on that so you can start manifesting something new, something from that vibrational state. Okay, last but not least, we're going to talk about energy harvesting. What is it? The idea of people harvesting energy from others through attention, emotional intensity, validation, excitement, fear, conflict, etc. Right? All of these emotions that I just listed, attention, not saying we shouldn't give our person attention and our job attention, but do you need it from me? Exactly. Emotional intensity, right? We can have intense emotions, but we should also be able to be in a state of calm. Validation, I don't think we should need validation from anybody, personally. Excitement, I don't mind that one. What's wrong with it? Okay, fear and conflict, right? Low vibrational energies. The point of bringing up these high, intense emotions is the fact that they require a lot of energy, particularly a lot of emotional energy. But emotions are tied to the mental. You get it. So if you're dealing with all of these heightened emotions towards somebody, think about when you break up with somebody. If you see that they go silent, like, hey, I want to break up. Okay, everything's okay. There's a difference between somebody being like, no, we're going to be together. We're going to work this out. Like, that's intensity. That's emotions. That's showing somebody that you still care. So sometimes you have to be very careful when you're dealing with people. Are they trying to evoke an emotion within you that's heightened because at least your energy is still on them? At least you're still getting their attention. You're giving them some of your attention. Versus if you're emotionally detached, your energy is gone too. And I just want to say, when I was first going through this healing, I started to really see how potent my energy is. Because you guys see that I'm a thinker and I'm very emotional. So that's a lot of my energy right there. A lot of the times your behavior and your thoughts and your emotions translate into behavior. But that's a really interesting topic as well, because I think I'm quite good at not having my behavior show my emotions. Like I do on here, because like this is my space, my space. But anyway, when I started doing this healing, right, from ex jobs, ex relationships, ex friends, all of a sudden they don't have your attention anymore. They don't have your energy anymore. And I'm talking about not just in person, but you stop thinking about them. You stop feeling something towards them. You stop scrolling to see them. You stop trying to call and figure out a way to communicate with them. And as you do that, it's kind of like when two people break up and you see one flourish afterwards and one deplete. You can tell whose energy was being siphoned at the time, who was being drained and after the breakup, because that person was able to put their energy into themselves. Now energy has returned to its rightful sender. Again, any interaction, any relationship, any job, you are giving them your energy, your time, your thoughts, your emotions, your behavior. When you are able to cut that off, now that person is left with their own energy. Because if they're so used to you listening, to you absorbing all of that emotion for them, and now they have to do it themselves, this is why we want to create boundaries early on. Because blasting somebody's energy back to them can be a difficult process for them. If somebody is so used to you thinking about them and you having emotions towards them, if all of a sudden you stop because you healed, because you're busy, you're doing stuff, now you're not taking some of that energy that's between the two of you, this energy, you're not taking some of that portion of it anymore. But energy has to go somewhere. Right? But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I do want to make one more lesson about practical tips and helping you kind of with your routine and stuff. And then we'll move on. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this again. And I love you. Stay tuned in. I'm thinking about learning how to surf, guys. And I cut my hair this week. Just like this. But yeah. Love you guys, and I'll see you soon. Bye.